Hi everybody, I'm Allie Buchman with the Potomac Bead Company, and I'm going to create these Lady Grimm earrings for you today. They almost look like a coat of arms or a crest, and I really like the idea of kind of playing on that shape of the crescent bead. If you haven't seen the crescent bead before or have not played with it, it's a check bead that is two-holed, and it almost looks like a little piece or a slice of orange, and it's in that crescent shape. And I'm going to be using those in order to highlight our RounDuo beads. The Lady Grimm earrings, if you need any of the materials, we'll do a little drop down here on the left-hand side with links that you can purchase from our website if you need to, or to copy down so you can go to your local Potomac Bead Company and shop there as well. To do the Lady Grimm earrings, you're going to need 8 RounDuo beads. In the example here, I used the RounDuo beads in the zinc iris. I am going to be playing here with the white shimmer, so they kind of have that pearlescence, making nice springy colors. In addition to your 8 RounDuo beads, you're also going to need your crescents. For the crescents, you'll need 5 per earring, so you'll use 10 total crescent beads. You could do a play on colors too, using different colors and combinations of your RounDuos and your crescents. The crescents I'll be using to create this pair of earrings is the Pacifica Watermelon, as opposed to that aqua blue color here that I used in the actual examples. To highlight that pink and that kind of goldeny tone to it, I'm going to be using galvanized gold 11OC beads in Miyuki brand, as well as the Duracoat galvanized silver in the Miyuki brand. To top the earrings and to connect them to the ear wires, I am using wire protectors, so you want to have 2 wire protectors handy, one for each top of the earring, and then 1 ear wire for each earring to connect onto. You could also make this as a bracelet or a necklace and connect these little Lady Grimms together as well. And I'll kind of touch on that a little bit for you as I make the design of the earrings. To thread this all together, I'm using 0.006 Wildfire green thread. The 0.006 is great for the style that we're doing. It's thick enough that it'll help to keep its shape, but thin enough that you won't see it that much. I am using the green color. I could have gone with white or green depending on the project. I think the green sticks out less than the white, and I'll see a little bit of thread on the end and at the top, so I prefer to have that green next to my gold rather than a stark white. When I'm working with this, I'm going to be using a size 10 English style beading needle, and I'm working on my bead mat, or in this case, my Beadonit board. If you do have a Beadonit board or a bead mat, it's great because it stops your beads from kind of rolling around. It makes it easier to pick up off your mat. The Lady Grimm earrings will start out in the center, and then we'll kind of work our way out and add our little crescents at the top at the very end. You could also do these as a post earring, just folding that top crescent back. You can see you could connect it right to there, or I think it would look really pretty as a post as well right there in the middle. So there's a number of different ways, and this is kind of a nice simple design to get going to make a cute pair of spring earrings. I am going to be using both colors of seed beads and my beads at the start. So all I'm going to do is set my beads, or my wire protectors and my earrings, off to the side, put my examples there at the top, and get ready to create my little coat of arms here in these Lady Grimm earrings. Dump out some seed beads, and you're going to use about 3 feet total of your beading thread. The first thing I've done to start my earrings is put a stop bead onto the thread and the needle. My stop bead here is just a bead that's not included in my project, and I take the needle and thread through it once and twice. That bead will then come off the project as I get to the end of it. For this project, the only thing that is a little bit tricky at first is that we want all of our crescents facing the same direction. So I have my 4 crescents here, which will line up with my 4 RounDuo beads. I'm going to start in the inner area here, picking up 1 RounDuo bead and 1 crescent. When I pick up the crescents, I want to make sure that I'm always picking up the left-hand side of the crescent bead, going through it so that the arch is to the top. I'm going to pick up those 4 crescent beads, separated out by the 4 RounDuos. And since I started with a RounDuo, I'm going to end with a crescent. Let those drop back down to your stop bead. These almost have a pink coral look to them with those pearlized beads. I'm going to go back to the RounDuo here, very back at the start, go through the RounDuo and also through the first crescent. I'm going through the same hole that I've started with, so right now I still have 2 empty holes on those beads. I'm going to pull those nice and tight, forcing my beads down next to my stop bead. Once I'm out that crescent bead there on the side, I'm going to step up to add my seed beads. To add the seed beads, I'm coming out that crescent, and I'm going to go through the top hole of the crescent, turning the needle back towards me. This will expose a little bit of thread there on the side, and I'm just going to pull tightly and make sure that that nice grouping of 4 here, you can lay down and see, the crescents don't sometimes want to cooperate until you actually lay it down. What I'm going to do now is catch on to the second hole of both my RounDuo as well as the second hole of the crescent. To decorate the bead, I'm going to be using a silver this first go round, so I have that Duracoat silver. I'm adding a bead to my thread and sewing through the RounDuo bead. When I come out of the RounDuo before the crescent, I'm adding a bead on and catching that second hole of that crescent. Same thing, turning along. And right now I'm just putting in 8 of my seed beads, which are going to go between each of the holes here, the outer holes of the RounDuo and the crescent beads. As I circle around, I have those first 4 in place, and I'll add the last 2. Once you're done coming around, we will not have any open holes of our RounDuos or our crescents. To finish off, I'll put in my last 2 beads here. And as I put my last 11-0 in place, I'm going to go through that first crescent where the thread was exposed and out the 11-0 on the other side. That would be the first 11-0 that you put on your project. From that 11-0, I'm going to grab 5 of my galvanized gold 11-0s, sew through the other silver 11-0, the crescent, and the silver 11-0 in the second crescent in line. And that's going to decorate the side there of my earrings to create my little coat of arms. Continuing the Lady Grimm earrings, we're going to add 5 more seed beads and sew through that combination of 11 crescent 11. Give a tight pull at the end of each, and there will be a little bit of curvature that's happening. You want that to happen so that your crescents sit correctly. As I put on my 5 beads, I then sew through my grouping of my crescent and my 11. Adding my last of my 5 in here, I'll sew through my 11, my crescent, and my 11 to complete the end of the earring. To actually create the top of the earring, I'm going to continue while my needle is through those beads to sew through the third of the gold beads that I put on first in that group of 5. That's going to bring my thread out right at the top of the design. So right there at the top of the design, the thread's going to come out. When the thread is coming out, I get to add in my crescent on the top. Here's why I said if you want to, you could just add a jump ring and have the earring stop there. You can also create this crescent, or you could go to the back here, get a little pearl cup earring and actually some E6000 glue and glue right on there so that it would be a nice little post to wear as well. So there's a couple different ways you could do this. If you do want to do the crescent at the top, we're going to start when coming out of that top third bead of the gold, adding 2 gold seed beads. Circling around, I'm going to go into that same seed bead from the other side. That's going to put these 2 seed beads kind of laying in a V fashion right above that top bead. Going then into the first of those 2 beads that I added, I'm going to bring my needle out the top. adding a gold bead. I'm also going to add my crescent. When I add my crescent, I want to go through the crescent at the very right side again, or left side again, with a crescent facing up. That's going to make sure that when I push the crescent down here, the crescent is going to sit correctly on the earring and not be facing backwards. Once I have on the 11, the crescent and the 11, I'm going to go through the other side bead there on my earring. I want to make sure that crescent goes to the front of that grouping, so that way there's not thread exposed, and I'm going to go through that middle bead. Once I'm through that middle bead, I'm going to get ready to connect to the upper holes and to add in some extra seed beads. Coming out that middle bead, I'm going to go up the 2 beads on the side, and then through that bottom hole of the crescent to the other side. When I'm on the side of the crescent here, I'm going to add 3 beads and sew to the left side there of that crescent, going from the bottom hole to the top hole. Adding another 3 beads, I'm going to decorate the right side here, doing the same thing, going through the crescent. That's going to pull 3 beads right to the side of the crescent. Right now those 3 beads are not sitting in a continuous line, but we are going to fix that. To finish the earring and to put the wire protector on top, I'm going to go up the original first 3 beads that I put on the side of the crescent and come out at the top of the crescent. From there, I'm going to grab my wire protector, and the wire protectors can be closed or open. I'm going to make sure that it's open because I want the crescent to sit inside a little bit. Going through the one hole of the wire protector or the wire guard, I'm then going to go down the other side and at the same time grab onto those 3 beads that were on the side of the crescent and also the 2 beads leading up to the crescent. That's how, going through all of those 5 beads at once, that line is going to be nice and creative. When you have the wire protector, you want to make sure that your thread stays in that little channel. So if it's not, you just kind of reposition it so it is, and that loop will sit right on top of your crescent bead there. When I'm coming down that right side now, I'm going to flip over to the left by going through that top bead again, so going through that top 11, and then I'm going to go up through those 5 beads on the alternate side. I'm also going to reinforce my clasp, so reinforce that wire protector by going up the wire protector. So you can see that helps to create that line, gathering the beads that were the 3 on the sides to the 2 that were on the bottom. To finish off this earring here, all I'm going to do is come down the other side of the wire protector, down those 5 beads, and I'll bring my needle out right after those 5 beads. I want to then get my wire or my thread here so that it's coming out right next to that stop bead, and then I'll simply tie a knot. That knot then I will burn down and glue right at the back of the earring. So right now I'm going to take that wire, and my thread is short because I usually use less than what I call for so it stays better in frame, but I'm going to push it through. You can see a little cheat there with the needle end first. I'm then going to take the thread off the needle since it's in the position that I want it to be, and I'm going to tie those 2 thread ends together. When you look at the earring itself, I'm just pulling the stop bead off there. When you look at the earring itself, you'll be able to see the crescent a little bit almost sticking out the back, like a little beak. That is okay because you won't actually see that when the earring itself is on. I'm going to go ahead, like I said, and just do overhand knots and a square knot there. Once that knot is done, I'll burn down those edges. I'm going to make another one of these little Lady Grimm earrings, and then we'll attach them to my ear wires. Just to show again the start of my second earring, I have my 4 beads on with my 4 crescents following. Going back to that first RounDuo bead, I'm going through the first RounDuo through the same hole that I used initially, as well as through that first hole of my crescent bead, pulling nice and tight in order to round out the design. From there, I'm going to step up from the bottom hole of that crescent bead to the top hole of the crescent bead. That's going to get me in position to add my 1 11-0 at a time of my silver beads between the second holes of the RounDuos and the crescents. After I put the 11-0s in place, I then get to add my 5 gold 11s in between each of the silver 11s, which will sit them right on top of my RounDuo beads. As I finish that 4th one, I'm going to go through the silver 11, the crescent, the silver 11, and then up to the 3rd bead of the first grouping of gold that I put on to the earring. That again finishes the little Lady Grimm bottom portion of the earrings. Again, you could, if you want to right now, join them to your ear wires or actually glue on the backing. If you want to follow, you can actually follow to make the top of this again, which I'll go over in detail since that's the harder part. Going and adding to the top, we're just going to add 2 of our gold 11-0 seed beads as we're coming out of that 3rd gold seed bead from our base row. We're adding those 2 and sewing through that top little point there. When I go through that first of those 2 I added, coming out between those 2 top beads, I'm going to pick up my crescent, add an 11, my crescent, and my 11, and skip over to that second hole, and that second bead. Make the crescent sit correctly by sitting it up a little bit and making sure the thread goes behind the crescent and that you're not actually seeing it. I like to turn this over as I'm working with it so I can see more of what I'm doing. I'm going to add my extra set of seed beads by first going through that top bead. I'm going to come up the side here and go through those 2 beads, sewing through the crescent. Then I get to add my 3 beads on the side. When I have those 3 beads, I'm going to sew from the bottom hole to the top hole of the crescent, from the left side to the right side. That will lay those 3 crescent beads right there on, or those 3 beads right on the side of my crescent. Just making sure my crescent's cooperating. Add 3 more beads to go on the other side and back to that first side. So I'm just basically spinning through the crescent. As I get ready to add my wire protector or the wire guard, I'm going to go in and add, or go up those 3 beads on the side. And this is the left side, so these are the first beads that I added in. Once I'm out those, I grab my wire protector, go up through that U channel, and down the U on the other side. When I go down the U on the other side, I'm also going to pick up those 5 seed beads that sit right along the side of the crescent. Make sure that your thread stays in that U channel, and I just usually pinch or hold there so I know that it's in the channel. Sew through that top bead one more time. And then up the 5 beads on the other side of the crescent. After I come out those 5 beads on the other side, I'm going to reinforce that wire protector by taking my thread through it one more time and down the other side. When I come down the other side, I'm also going to come down those 5 seed beads and go down towards the project in order to get back to that stop bead so I can tie off the threads. I'm going to go through that top middle bead, go down through the side beads here, and through that second hole of the RounDuo bead. Then simply when my 2 thread ends are together, I just take off my needle as well as my stop bead and tie the 2 threads together to finish off the back just like I did the first piece. Once you're done the earrings, you're just going to open up your ear wires, and I've downgraded to a pair without the little balls on them. You just slide them right onto that wire protector and close them up. That's the simple ending to these Lady Grimm earrings. They show off the RounDuo and also the cool shape that the crescents have. Again, you can make them longer, shorter. You can link them together as different bracelet components or a necklace. It'd be a cute idea if there's a mom of 3 or 4 or 5, you can actually make these with their birthstones in the middle as well. If you get a chance to pick up the crescents and some RounDuo beads, you can have a good time making all different Lady Grimm earrings by really changing up the colors and playing with the design a little bit. You can also make them a little bit more delicate by using 15 in place of the 11 The count will just be off about 2 per each section when you're looking at them. If you do need any of these materials, you can go back to the beginning of this video and we'll do links for them all there. That way you can get any of the materials from us online, or you can purchase at your local Potomac Bead Company store as well. You can also get the links to the materials underneath this video. There's a little drop-down menu under the details of the video that says Show More. If you click on that little Show More button, it'll give you links to all of the materials that were used in these fun little Lady Grimm earrings as well. You can also stay connected with us better by subscribing to this channel to get fun YouTube tutorials like these, as well as little product updates, like when we get more crescents in or different designs and come out with new beads, as well as just updates on what we're doing in the bead world, as well as us at Potomac Beads. You can also stay connected with us on Facebook through our beading and jewelry making group that you can ask to be a member of. Interact with us online there, as well as interact with other fun people that have the passion for beading as well. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone, and as always, have fun beading and making these fun Lady Grimm earrings.